5.5 hours. TPUSA Student Action Summit in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so Trump can't be here for all of this, right? Let me, there's Charlie Kirk. Hey, we're going to be seeing this guy in person in like a week.
Don't exist unless you're the Houston Astros and you did something you shouldn't have done to go win a certain sports championship. The Democrats in 2020 are the Houston Astros of American politics, stealing signs, cutting corners, and lying the entire way. And I can tell you right now, the deeper we dive into this, the nastier they're going to get. And I want to compliment one group of people. I want to compliment the heroes in the State House and the State Senate that have kept this audit going and have kept fighting to find the truth. You guys deserve credit for what you have done.
Oh, because the Phoenix, Arizona audit. Okay, gotcha. He's doing Trump hand gestures. Yeah, Charlie Kirk is one of those empty suit types. It's one of the reasons why, like, he's not a debate opponent I care that much about. Like, at least Shapiro seems to have some kind of weird, like, prodigy boy vibe thing going on. Like, Charlie Kirk really is just a talking head. I don't think he believes anything. Wasn't the audit proven to be an incredible sham? Would it matter to them? On the M4A march, I was a part of them for a bit, so we can have a march in Hartford. The leadership is full of force the voters. When I mentioned potentially inviting you, they said you were a pedo and a racist. They'll let Nazis on, but not me. Well, probably because they don't disagree with Nazis that much. That is not surprising to me, though. I feel bad for all the people at those marches who actually do care about Medicare for all and aren't like the Hinkle or Jimmy Dore types who are just using it to get some attention. Remember that big speech that you just saw from Jimmy Dore? Like you saw the 20 seconds of it? There was actually a photo of the crowd that he was speaking to, and there was nobody there. It was all cameras. Like, the way the cameras are looking up at him, you'd expect he'd be talking to hundreds of people, but it's actually just like 20 or so people with their cameras pointed at him, you know? Like, that's it. It's so synthetic.
Square that I encourage all of you.
Rhythms that they expose.
Hey, what's up?
Call me a liar. This is the Democrats in their own word.
Why the fuck is he swaying like that?
They showed this algorithm called skip and delete.
Do you know how...
It's really important to understand.
Wait, is he actually drunk? Do you know how microphones work? This is the Nick Fuentes congressman, right? This is the guy who pals around with Nazis. It is, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. What's it, Gosar? Gosar, yeah, Gosar, whatever.
Because when they did those 100 random ballots, there were 2 ballots that were off.
The white race is not sending their best.
Donald Trump, by the way. The first one, they took that ballot and put it in a line with Joe Biden. When you take one and give one, that's 2%. The second one, they just deleted Donald Trump's ballot.
This is
There's
unbelievable.
3%. Now, you could, like, once again.
Gosar just released a bill to ban all immigration from the U.S. You mean to the U.S., right? Not from the U.S. to the U.S.? That's funny.
I'll say, call me a liar.
Wait, Siri.
This is not me telling you this. This is the Democrats telling you this.
Is he being puppeted?
That's why it is important for us to stay the course.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is deranged. I am not going to sit here and pretend that this is an ordinary lack of charisma. This is insane. What is he on right now? He is literally, unironically, without hyperbole in any way, looks like he is being puppeted from the rafters. He legitimately looks like there are people above him articulating his body with those little cross puppet things that I don't really know how they work.
Full accountability of this audit.
Look at his slumped shoulder. Is he wearing shoulder pads? He is. There's no way his shoulders rest like this naturally. Is he wearing a padded suit? What? Is this the 80s? Look at him. There's like a SCP skeleton nightmare wither underneath this suit, and they have like a brace holding the jacket up, like those metal frames that would make the dresses poofy back in Elizabethan England. This is better than anything Trump is doing right now, by the way.
And I got some good news.
What?
The same thing's happening in Georgia.
What?
The same thing is about ready to happen in Pennsylvania.
Vosh, he has spasms. Wait, does he have a neurological disorder? Is that true? Wait, he suffers from spasms? Is that true? He's not being puppeted? Oh no, is this an ableism thing now? Fuck! God damn it! I thought for sure I've seen this guy do public speeches before and that he didn't do this. God damn it! Yeah, we were having such a good time. Man, ableism really does ruin it for everyone. Gosar, spasms. I swear to God that I've seen him speak before and that he didn't look anything like this. Does that account for everything? The freaking out, the head swinging around? Disorders don't act up all the time? Oh yeah, that's true. 5 years ago, Gosar said he'd been concealing spasms in his hand that were caused by arthritis and 2 compressed vertegae. He then disclosed he'd undergone a hip replacement the previous summer and was in need of back surgery. No. It looks like it's expanded from his hand, like it used to be a hand issue. So maybe, like, I've just seen him otherwise. Well, now we know, don't we? The real ableism was me. Is it ableist to make fun of these people for their awful policies? No, you can do that. Yeah, now I'm canceled again.
And they say light
max capacity.
Really? This is the vibe we're going with here? It's a good song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm saying they're the ones playing. All right.
Our stock market is at an all-time high.
Oh shit, it's the
is at a 17-year
Trump
low.
Econ remix.
You missed me yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump!
The Trump Trap remix. Wait, what's with the tone shift? Why would you go from a trap remix to this? Like the music just continues and he just pulls one out and he just strokes it, and the music just keeps going, people keep cheering. I think they would. I don't think they'd break. Oh, unironically, I feel like I need to learn a lesson from this, okay? With Gosar, with his behavior, I feel like my mind always goes to drugs and never goes to neurological condition, and it's probably an actual problem. Like, I probably should think that, because I don't even think that. Like, I never think, haha, he's got a disability, let's make fun of it. I think this dude's coked up, and that's all I think. Like, it doesn't even occur to me, you know? So I should probably, like, reflexively think, like, maybe there's a reason he looks like he's being puppeted or something, you know? It could be both, Vosh. Sure, it could be both. But, like, the only point I'm trying to iterate is that my immediate thought is one of, these are some good drugs, and not, this is a disability to be mocked. Because the moment we learn it's a disability, none of us want to make fun of it anymore. So I don't think it's, you know what I mean? Like, the moment we learn, it's not like instantly it's like, oh, okay, so it's not something to be made fun of then. So I'd like to believe that's indicative of something positive in the community.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to Charlie for that introduction, which was so beautiful, and for your fearless leadership of Turning Point Action and Turning Point USA.
Oh,
Thank
he's going to come.
Charlie, very much.
Oh, he's going to come. I get to talk to him a week after his post-orgasm bliss of talking to Trump.
Incredible appreciation to the thousands of bold, young, and proud American patriots that are with us today. What
He's
a
looking
crowd.
pale.
What a crowd.
Like less orange? He looks better. He does look better with less of the tanning solution.
And you think this is a lot of people, you ought to look outside. It's about 110 degrees or something. That's an incredible group. So thank you. Thank you to the people outside. We love you.
There are
the
people
pulse
outside, too,
of our
probably.
movement. So true. And you are the ones who will make America great again. You know, I started saying, make America great again. Think of that. Think about that.
I don't want to think about it.
Nobody's done what we did in 4 years, the greatest economy. We will be talking about it. We have plenty of time. Does everybody have some time? Yeah.
So wait, did he succeed then? Wait, is he claiming that he succeeded in making America great again over his first term? Like, when he ended it with COVID and BLM and everything? Like, was that his success? What did he even do? What did he even do? I don't even know. He talked about bringing manufacturing jobs back, and then none of them actually came back. He continued Obama's economic, growth, but then he crashed it with poor COVID handling. What changed? Yeah, he killed 500,000 Americans. That was nice. Yeah, he drone striked far more than Obama. That was good. He abandoned our allies in Rojava. That was sick nasty. He cut taxes on the wealthy. That's cool.
I said I look
He strengthened personal business relations with foreign countries. Thank you.
forward to the speech. They said, oh, good. I said, how long a flight is it? About 5.5 hours, sir. I said, oh, well, man, can we maybe do it by Zoom? But Zoom will never replace the real thing. Do we agree?
I miss him.
Especially for our great young students. It cannot replace being in the classroom, can it? With your help, we will stand up for democracy and for justice.
No, but come on. Wouldn't it slap if Biden was like that? Like, Biden shows up and he's like, they told me it was a long flight. I asked, can't I, use Skype or something? And they said no. So here I am. I don't know. It's funny.
Justice, we will fight for truth, transparency, and accountability.
Really?
And we will not stop until we have restored our American birthright of honest, free, and fair elections.
While pushing forward dozens of voter
in
suppression
Phoenix
bills.
to show our support for election integrity and for the brave and unyielding conservative warriors in the Arizona State Senate. Thank you. Thank you. You've created a movement all over the country. This is now starting all over the country. I'm hearing Texas wants to do a forensic audit. I just heard that. Even though I won Texas by a lot, I said you should do it because you'll find out.
Wasn't there a state representative that's in Texas that said the state would have gone blue if it weren't for some of the discriminatory actions that took place? Can somebody find that article really quick? Texas would have gone blue. Here we go. The Texas Attorney General says Trump would have lost state if it hadn't blocked mail-in ballot applications being sent out. It would have flipped to blue. Legit, this should be like the headline people read before rioting. But nobody cares because we all know Republicans don't give a fuck about democracy. The state of Texas would have gone blue. What a win that would have been. The Attorney General said he would have lost Texas 2020 if his office had not successfully blocked counties from mailing out applications for mail-in ballots to all registered voters. We could have had Blexus. If we'd lost Harris County, Trump won by 620,000 votes in Texas. Harris County mail-in ballots that they wanted to send out were 2.5 million. Those were all illegal, and we were able to stop every single one of them. So these are just ballots being sent to houses. There's not, fake counted votes or anything like that. Harris County is Houston, by the way. Yep. Where the Dems live. Sheesh.
What's going on in this country? It's crazy. You know, when you hear defund the police, when you hear no IDs, of course now they're trying to get into the we never really said that. You know, it's
no
it's
ID,
crazy.
no
but when
IDs.
You hear open borders. How about open borders? All this stuff.
Based.
In my opinion, there's no way they win elections without cheating. There's no way. There's no way. No Second Amendment. They're against energy. We were energy independent 2 months ago. Energy independent. Now we're not energy independent. I saw where they're negotiating now with OPEC again. Here we go again. They are negotiating right now with OPEC and with Russia. We had so much oil, we didn't know what the hell to do with it. It's not even believable. They closed up so many.
Could that have been because of COVID? People weren't using as much oil, but now that we're going back to normal, we use more? Maybe?
Sites. Today, I want to send our profound and everlasting gratitude to every Arizona Republican who had the fortitude and the backbone to defy the lying media. Look at that. Ooh, it's a lot of media. A lot of media.
Dude, if you're press, do you think you have to like concealed carry at Trump events, dude? If I was like with CNN or something, and I went to like a Trump rally, I feel like I would have to come fucking strapped, okay? Because holy shit, every single time you get acknowledged, it's in the context of you are like the lying elite class here to rob democracy from Americans or something. It's like, all right, well, yeah, okay, all right.
A lot of media. See, the red lights are starting to go off now.
What?
They're going, cut. He's at it again. He's talking about the media.
Is that... What? Guys, we didn't expect this. Trump is talking shit about mainstream media. Fuck, we didn't know he'd... Cut the feed, cut the feed. What?
No, it's easy. Hey, look, some of them are down almost 80%.
He sees a light-up sketcher in the crowd. You know those light-up sketchers where you stomp your heels and the lights flash? He saw a red one.
But I want to, just to finish, we want to demand a full forensic audit of the results of Maricopa County. I particularly want to thank Arizona Senate President Karen Fann. She's been brave. She's been strong. And I predict when the votes come in, and that's her in the Senate, I think they're going to be so horrible that she's going to go 3 steps further than she ever thought she'd have to, because they will be, in my opinion, and again, I'm not involved, they're involved. This is the Arizona State Senate. I think the results will be so outrageous. You've already seen some of them come, that they're going to go many steps further than they would have.
What?
Judiciary Committee Chairman Warren Peterson. Where's Warren? Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Warren. He's here someplace. Thank you, Warren. And state, we did win. We really did. Not me. We all won. We won. Everybody knows it.
Why is he even doing rallies? Is he going to run? Oh, he's going to run in 2024. No way he doesn't. Why not? He gets to be like the permanent God Emperor celebrity of a third of the country as long as he keeps this going, you know? Why would he ever talk about or do anything else? He has to. He needs the attention.
You know, when you looked at election night, we were up by so much, it was over at 10 o'clock, and then all of a sudden, they closed the tabulation areas. They closed everything. And we wake up, and all of a sudden, it's tied or we're losing. And nobody believes it. They don't believe it. I tell you right now, they don't believe it. State Senators J.D. Mesnard, Kelly Townsend. Kelly, you've been so incredible. Kelly. J.D., thank you. Where's Kelly? Kelly, thank you. Great job. Tremendous courage you have. I appreciate it. The whole country appreciates it really a lot. Nancy Bartow. Nancy, wherever you may be. Nancy, thank you. Thank you very much.
He talks like his lips are allergic to his teeth. Well, he's so... Man, can you imagine if Donald Trump and Alex Jones were Huey Long-esque, like, dipshit populist lefties or something, I still probably have issues with them because they're fucking psychopaths. But man, how much more fun would it be if we could watch these buffoons sputter their way through conspiracy, and at least they're, like, pushing people vaguely in our direction?
Great job. Thanks, Nancy. Nice to meet you. See, they all think I'm involved. I'm not involved. These are people that did this by themselves. They wanted to do it. They had to do it. They saw what was going on, and they did it. So I'm meeting some of you for the first time. Senator Kerr. Where is Senator Kerr? Senator Kerr. Thank you very much.
Isn't Dorr the Alex Jones of the left? No, because Alex Jones pushes people to the right, and Dorr pushes people to the right. The equivalent there would be if Alex Jones, like, pretended to be a right-leaning person but pushed people to the left, which he doesn't. He pushes people to the right pretty explicitly.
I appreciate it. Somebody who's been a warrior. Again, I don't know him. Sonny Borelli. He's great. Where's Sonny?
Just imagine if all of his stupid enthusiasm could be put towards advocating for Medicare for all, you know?
An amazing guy and a brave guy and a strong, smart guy. Thank you very much. All of you. Vince Leach. Where's Vince? Thank you, Vince.
We're going to have health care.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be huge.
Great job. Somebody else who's really been out there that's been brave, who wants to go many steps further than anybody, Wendy Rogers, right?
Is this Trump's version of reading donos? Yes, it is. And like my reading donos segments, we skip the VOD.
Chairwoman, somebody that has found out after they nominated that Democrat.
This should be enough.
History of our country.
There we go.
The Democrats know it. The corrupt media, right back there, a lot of people. They know it.
Carry, gotta stay safe. See, shit like this, man.
Big tech knows it, and most importantly, we, the American people, know it. We know it. But because of the steadfast conservatives all across our nation, and that's really happening now, if you look at what's going on all across, they've come from so many different states to look at.
Not me. Hey.
Your audit procedures, they go back, and I'll call them. I'll say, how did you like it? What did you think? They said, we don't believe it. And then they're starting their own audits now. That's what's happening. They're coming and they're looking at what Karen and Kelly, they're looking at people are afraid to walk down the streets of New York, and nobody gets prosecuted, except Republicans, by the way. In every fake news story.
That's true. Republican politicians do get prosecuted quite a bit more often than Democratic politicians do. That is true.
About the election, they always begin by stating that claims are unproven. This is the fake news. Those claims are unproven. You ever notice you read a story and you're reading about massive fraud, but they don't write about that too much. You know, the biggest thing is they don't write, but they always say, while this is totally unproven, and you're saying, well, wait a minute, we caught thousands and hundreds of thousands of people.
And lost every court case.
While there is no evidence, you know, they have these little sound bites, but the craziest of them all is, and always done in unison, because, you know, they work together. If this were business, they'd be put in jail because it would be called a monopoly. But the biggest and the craziest of the big lie, they call it. You know what's the big lie? The opposite is the big lie. The election was the big lie. And I've got to tell you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it. If I lost the election, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Seriously. If we lost the election, we lose an election. I'll go home. I'll start building buildings. I'll do something. I'll keep myself busy. But you know what? If we lost the election, we know when we lose. You know, in Georgia, they had an election. We did so well, and everyone knew we won by hundreds of thousands, and they stole it from us. And what happened is we had two senators running a couple of months later. And you know what happened to them? The Republicans said, we're not going out to vote because this was rigged. This election was rigged. And they know it. You know when you win and when you lose.
Damn. It's almost like there are consequences to telling your voters that voting doesn't matter when you lie about the results of the previous election. Whose fault is that? Wow, wow, Republicans didn't show up for the fucking special elections in Georgia? Damn, well, I wonder what led them to have so many doubts in the system. Yeah, please, Republicans, your votes don't matter, so don't cast them in.
If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. When they steal it from you and rig it, that's not easy, and we have to fight. We have no choice. Have to fight.
What do you mean by fight?
And it starts right here with the amazing Patriots in Arizona. And you're proving the fake news media wrong. You're proving them wrong because the evidence is monumental. Just like
Where is
Russia, Russia, Russia. Remember? People would come up to me during the campaign, the first campaign, and they'd say, "Sir, do you know anything about Russia?" "No." "What do you ask?" "Oh, no. Just, I was curious." You know, there was like these rumors. Another one would come up a month later. "Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia?" "No." I never even thought of it. But after I got asked that question 4 or 5 times, I said, what the hell is going on with Russia? And it was a fake deal made up by Hillary Clinton with a fake dossier where they paid.
Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up.
They play a different game. But, you know, ultimately, we're much bigger than them. We have many more people. Because when you go over their policies, the fact is those policies are not a 50% of the vote. We have many, many more people. They're tough, they're mean, and they stick together. They do stick together. But their policies are so bad, they're so pathetic. If they ever had our policies, maybe there'd be no Republican Party, I must be honest with you. Because we haven't until now, and it started with these incredible people, many of whom are sitting right here. The state senators from Arizona, it started with them, and now it's turning out to be a revolution in this country. Because people are saying, even some Democrats, they're saying no. Knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And what are they?
Yeah, that's why we had all those court cases. Yeah, we should know, and we found out. You were given a ton of opportunities to make your claims, and you couldn't. Jesus. Guys, never forget that not only did Newsmax and OAN on air retract their claims about the Dominion voting machines and many other elements of the big lie, but so too did Sidney Powell. Remember? The Kraken lady, the person at the head of the special investigation that Trump brought about? She said, yeah, it was all a joke. Don't take me seriously. Yeah, Sidney Powell. Seriously, that's true. Hold on. Yeah, it's just a prank, bro. Here's Sidney Powell's legal defense for claims of defamation. Reasonable people wouldn't believe her election fraud claims. Not only was she just doing a little bit of trolling, reasonable people would have known that from the start. It was all performance art, you see. No reasonable person would conclude her statements were truly statements of fact, Powell's attorney. Now, again, if your claims are so bad that the legal defense your team has to concoct is it was performance art, you have a pretty bad case. How can you be this cucked? This is every day in the life of Republicans, by the way. Vosh, this type of shit gets described incorrectly for memes. Not a statement of fact doesn't mean they're admitting they were lying. It means statement of opinion. Yeah, but everything's a statement of opinion. This defense is legalese for we shouldn't be sued for defamation because nothing we said should be taken seriously. That all of the claims of fact that we made were actually just strongly stated opinions. Like, it's very, very, very clearly an indication that they never had any legitimate ground to begin with. Kind of, but there's legal difference. Yeah, from a legal difference, yes. But in terms of like the legitimacy of these claims from the perspective of the people listening to them, you know?
Trying to hide. Why wouldn't they want it? Now, they're trying to hide at a level. That's why I don't understand guys like Ducey and your commissioners. These commissioners are so bad. But, you know, you have the witch hunt. Remember the great witch hunt? And the impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. And
I remember that Dr. Seuss book.
The Republicans can really stick together. We have great Republicans. You have Jim Jordan. You have, I mean, I'm going to get in trouble, but you have Jim Jordan and Devin. And by the way, you have 3 of them here tonight. These guys, I hope you love them all because those 3 are fighters, but we'll introduce them in a second. They've already jobs. And they're lost all over the country. People sold their home. They were so excited they were going to be building this pipeline, environmentally much better than a truck, much better, frankly, than a train, a railroad, much safer. They were building it, and he stopped it like in the first week. He stopped it, and yet he approves the biggest pipeline in the world going from Russia to Germany, and we're supposed to protect Germany. I said that. I said, by the way, you would have never even heard about that pipeline if it wasn't for me. Nord Stream 2.
What?
Nord Stream. Nobody ever heard of that. Nobody ever talked about it until I came along. Nobody did. Look, I get along with Putin because that's a good thing. I got along with him. He got along with me. But nobody was ever tougher on Russia than I
Okay, come on, man. All right.
was. This pipeline is the biggest thing they've ever done. This is billions and billions. And I asked Angela, and I get along with Angela too, but she's doing what she's doing for Germany. Although I think the pipeline's a big mistake for Germany because they might as well just wave the red flag or the white flag because it's over. It's over. They're going to get 60, 70% of their energy from Russia. So I said, so let me ask you, so we're spending billions of dollars to protect you from Russia, and you're paying billions and billions of dollars for energy to Russia. What the hell is that all about, right? So I stopped it, and within a couple of weeks, he approved it, and now they're going to be restarting it, and they'll have it finished in a couple of months, and they're going to make billions and billions of dollars.
Wait, how did Trump... Is he claiming he stopped the development of a pipeline from Russia to Germany? Somewhat out of his jurisdiction, no? What is being claimed here? He sanctioned it? Did it need, like, all the fucking... what was this? A G7 resolution? Or is it G8 now? I forget. G7? G7. Yeah.
But the American pipeline is stopped, and I can only say that's called America First versus America Last. I mean, it's just... They're destroying... Look, they are destroying our country. And, you know, if the election were the way it were, and let's say they were doing a great job, number one, you probably wouldn't be as enthusiastic.
From what I understand, it was a diplomatic move to help Germany and curry favor. Yeah, as I understand it, isn't Germany shutting down its nuclear power plants for, like, no reason? So they have a lack of energy they need to compensate for?
Let's say they were doing a great job. By the way, your Arizona border, which I put up the wall, and it was great. It was the best it ever was. And now...
This is really low energy.
And now what's pouring into your state is not even to be believed. Not even to be believed. But you know what? If instead of doing the horrible, they're saying it was the worst 6 months in the history of the presidency. I don't know that that's true, but I would say it is. If you look at what's happened to the economy.
This is so
how about
lame.
The vaccine? I came up with and the reason they noticed it, I guess, number one, it was very light, but they saw that when you hit it with a certain pen, it went right through the paper. They say, what the hell kind of paper is this? That's 168,000 votes. And so that also would have been invalidated. They wouldn't have allowed it to be on Election Day. They wouldn't have allowed it. 168,000 votes. I wonder who they voted for. Tell me, I wonder who they voted for. Would you say it was 100% for Biden or 97%? It was also revealed in a recent hearing that there are thousands and thousands of duplicated ballots that do not have a serial number, suggesting that votes may have been fraudulently duplicated and counted.
Fraudulently. By the way, the thing that he's talking about right now, if I'm remembering the case correctly, those ones without the serial numbers never entered circulation. They were like test prints. Why would any vote ballot get counted if they don't have a serial number? Like, yeah, we're going to forge some votes by putting the votes on ballots that have a giant ID missing that would signal that there's something wrong with them.
Multiple times, time after time after time. You saw it in Georgia. You saw those people go in. They said, there's a water main break. Everybody leave. Everybody leave. Everybody got the hell out. They don't want to drown. They don't want a water main break. And a few minutes, a short while later, a woman, a political operative, we all know her name. We all know her name.
Hillary Clinton.
It should have been taken care of. Which should have been taken care of. But a woman
What?
comes in, but it is now. It's in court, and it's a big deal. She came in with a group. She didn't go back to her machine. They went for the table. They lifted up the skirt of the table, and lo and behold, it was loaded up with ballots, but they weren't ballots that were in boxes that ballots come. They were in other, whether it was suitcases, it was totally different. They took those and they started putting them in, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 5 times, and they stood there. And I'll tell you what, when people looked at that, they got sick. People threw up looking at it. And law enforcement did very little. But now what's happening is, I believe the courts are...
This act of voter fraud, it's an eldritch abomination. Everyone's seen the videotapes. It's like The Ring. If you see it in 7 days, you die. You see it in your eyes blister in their sockets. It's an abomination. Everyone should have known. The police did nothing. They were powerless against the eldritch horror of these ballots and the political operative where we all know her name. She should have been stopped. What are we talking about? People threw up? What the fuck is going on? Yeah, it's a fucking cognito hazard. Jesus Christ. You can't watch the... They couldn't bring the tapes to court because it would have turned the jury into a fucking cult sect. What?
Going to do a lot. It's a big deal going on. That was total criminal behavior.
Is that why he couldn't say her name? Because it's unpronounceable in the tongue of man? Is it like nap or something like that? And if you hear it, your ears explode? Is that what's happening?
So you hear those hundreds of thousands of votes. We won the state of Arizona, and we won it decisively, and we won other of these states. Isn't it amazing? Barack Hussein Obama he beat Biden all over the country decisively. So did Hillary, except in 5 swing states where Biden wiped him out with the black population. So I think that he's not going to beat Obama, but only in these states.
What?
These states. So he did poorly, except in these states, he had massive victories. We're really smart people. We can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. Yet this is only the beginning of the irregularities the Arizona audit is uncovering. The authors and the auditors have collected a sworn affidavit stating that county election workers lowered signature matching standards from 20 points of comparison to 10, to 5, and eventually down to 0. In other words, they abolished all signature matching entirely. In other words...
Has there... I'm actually asking this. Has there ever been any evidence that signature matching is an effective way of determining the authenticity of something like a voting ballot? Like, if we're talking about, like, a CEO and it's, like, stuff written by them, like, you'd know the signature, you'd be able to recognize it. But when it comes to voter ballots, how do how do you signature check with a voter ballot? Like, signatures change over time. What database are you comparing it against? Because my signature is nonsense. I don't have a consistent one. I just... Yeah. But like, seriously, what would the database be? What would you compare it against? Like, you've got a vote counter, and they have a ballot, and they see the signature, and then what do they look up to compare it to? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know what that means. I don't know. The idea is that when you register to vote, it also gives them your signature for the record. What if your signature changes with time? Wait, what? So wait, for counties that still have high signature matching standards, could that mean that you signed up to vote at 18, at 30 you have a very different signature just because it's changed over time, and unbeknownst to you, every single fucking election your vote gets thrown out because you just, there's somebody somewhere is like, oh, this doesn't match, and it's you, and you're submitting the vote? If that's really how that works, that's insane. Yeah, what if you break your right hand or your dominant hand? You have to write with the other hand. What if... okay.
You have a bad signature, so the machine...
I'm sorry, wait. Just complete anecdote, okay? Did anyone ever watch Smallville? The, what was it, WATV series about the Clark Kent? He's just getting his powers. I watched a bit of it back when I was young. And, it wasn't amazing. Yeah, somebody save me! Okay, but it's not like an amazing show. However, I distinctly remember this one episode, right? Where there was a shapeshifter who arrived at Smallville. Also, Lex Luthor is in Smallville for some reason. I don't know why. They, like, grew up together. It's really cringe. But anyway, a shapeshifter arrives, and he wants a bunch of money. The shapeshifter. So he shapeshifts into Lex Luthor. And he goes into one of the banks, and he's like, hello, as you can see, I'm Lex Luthor. Give me all your money. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, for sure. I just need to see your signature. And the shapeshifter's like, what? Can't you tell I'm Lex Luthor? And the guy's like, yeah, I just need your signature. And he's like, and he runs away. And I was thinking, like, couldn't you just write whatever? Just write whatever. Just say, like, I hit my hand I slammed the car door on my fingers recently. My hand might be a bit shaky. Just do a signature. What are they gonna do? Like, deny the billionaire kid? I don't know. Whatever. Signatures are dumb.
Was picking up a lot of bad signatures. They said, this is no good. Let's lower it. Let's lower it. They brought it down to 0, so you had no signature matching. Perhaps this is why the county has refused to comply with an official subpoena sent out by your great Senate to provide images of the envelopes, which would prove whether they counted ballots and whether or not they had signatures at all, because we think many of them had no signature at all, because you can't sign them all during the night. We think they didn't, and you know what else they didn't have?
What?
They didn't have phones.
Wait, what? They didn't have signatures on it because in the cloak of night, when they were faking these ballots, they couldn't, like, scrabble one in. Like, there's too dark. We were able to get the ballots in, but it was too dark to sign them. What are you talking about? He's legit lying? Yeah, it's Trump. He just says whatever. It's this.
In order to have a
Did they
ballot
have
counted,
lights?
it has to be folded. But so many of these pages are laying flat, without a crease, without a fold. Cybersecurity experts have also testified that the logs for the election management system software were wiped under highly suspicious circumstances. This is them saying it, not me.
I don't know about this one.
With more than 37,000 requests made to the server in a single day. Think of that. Erasing the data permanently for the entire period surrounding the election. Gee, I wonder why they erased the data surrounding the election. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
The county has, for whatever reason, also refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. Wendy, we got to get those routers, please. The routers. Come on, Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers
Does he know
You
what
know
a router is?
We're so beyond the routers. There's so many fraudulent votes without the router. But
He doesn't know. He doesn't know what a router is. He's saying it like that because he doesn't know it. He just thinks it's like a sci-fi tech word, you know?
if you got those routers, what that will show, and they don't want to give up the routers. They don't want to give them. They are fighting like hell.
He doesn't know.
Why are these commissioners fighting not to give the routers? How
doesn't
simple
know.
could it be?
He
that
doesn't
will
know.
tell the truth.
Also, wait, what info could he glean from a router? What like what information is he looking for there? I don't think routers would store that. Yeah. Routers don't keep any traffic logs. Yeah, don't modems keep traffic logs? Like router if don't so pardon me if I'm wrong. Don't routers just allow you to enjoy Wi-Fi? You connect them to a modem. The modem takes the internet juice from your wall plug, and you can just plug your computer into that. But if you want Wi-Fi, then you make it a router. But nowadays, most routers and modems are the same box. Yeah, the internet juice. Yeah. Routers keep mappings of IP addresses and not much else. That's usually on RAM, so lost on restart. Yeah, I don't think routers keep like long-term data or anything. Like, I don't think there's some detailed internal log. I guess I don't really know. But he doesn't know either, so I don't know why I'm trying to figure this out.
What are they trying to hide? Unbelievably, the auditors have testified that the master database for the election management system has been deleted. I wonder why it was deleted. I wonder, Sonny, why was it deleted, please?
I don't know about
the
these
main
claims.
database for all of the election-related data in Maricopa in 2020 has been illegally erased. It's been erased. The county has also refused to provide the authority for the information. We want the information needed to access vote tabulation devices. To top it all off, they've refused to hand over the all-important chain of custody documentation for Maricopa County ballots. They don't want to give it. Why don't they want to give it? Why? I stand before you today to demand nothing less than full and complete cooperation from Maricopa County and from the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, who have fought your Senate at every single turn. Incredibly. Why? 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 Why are Republicans fighting it? All they have to do is hand it over,
literally all he'll talk about in the
either
2024 campaign trail. This is going to be like the founding myth of the new Republican Party. I actually mean that, by the way. It used to be, I think, for the longest time, like the Republicans have used Reagan as like their modern founding myth, basically. Like he's the North Star they're always trying to chase. And now it's going to be this. Every Republican election is going to be modeled off of what's happening here from now on. For decades, at least.
Right? They're not even saying they're right. They just don't want it. They don't even say they're right. They know, I think they know a hell of a lot about what happened. But why don't they want to do that? The citizens of Arizona, an incredible state that, as you know, I won 4 years ago, and I won it again. Somebody came in from a media group, a very good media group, actually, said, what was the difference?
Isn't it good there's no way this will win election? You know, you say that. However, I mean, we'll see. We will see. I don't know. There are some people who claim that the Republicans are going to take the House next year. I guess we'll see.
Difference between 2016 and 2020. I said, well, the difference was I actually did much better in 2020. It's true. We got 75 million votes. We got 12 million votes more. No president in history has ever gotten anywhere close to 12 million more votes. And that's with them doing counting. So you can imagine what the real number is, okay? No, you can imagine. Because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier.
What?
The postmen don't have to deliver them. The post office doesn't have to deliver them. You know, it's a very Democrat group, and why not? They have the greatest pension plan that anybody's ever seen. Why not? And that's okay. But, you know, a lot of them didn't go to their location, and when they were signed, they didn't get brought back. But when you think about it, and when you think about the corruptness, why don't these people want to find out the truth? The citizens of America deserve answers. We're talking about America. You know, we're not talking about Arizona anymore. We're talking about the United States of America, because this has gone on. And I hate to say it, but this is because you're really bad. But this has gone much worse in Detroit, Michigan. Much worse. We have a bunch of rhino senators up there, the exact opposite. You have one or two. We have a whole bunch of them up there. But we have a bunch of rhino senators. This is not as bad anywhere near, in my opinion, as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You take a look at Philadelphia. What they did to our poll watchers were incredible. We had poll watchers, nice people, great people. They love our country. They were Republican, but more than anything else, they want an honest counter. They just wanted to be. They'd turn them in either way. They were physically thrown the hell out, and they couldn't get in for days.
What is he saying?
So during that period of time,
the people he's referring to, by the way, were literally just like crazed Republican protesters out on the street who are trying to barge in, saying they wanted to be a poll watcher too.
Vast numbers of things happened that are terrible. And not only did they throw them out, they boarded up the windows so they couldn't even see inside. And then we got a court order, and they wouldn't obey the court order. And then they kept them 60 feet away. Do you know what 60 feet? That's like me looking at a vote with the lady in the beautiful red dress right over there, right? That's 60 feet. And I'm saying, oh, gee, how's that ballot? I'm 60 feet away. They were threatened by thugs. In Georgia, a recent review of ballot images has shown that the error rate in the hand audit of Atlanta's Fulton County was a whopping 60%. Would you say that's high? Including outright fabricated vote totals, as well as obvious duplications of ballots amounting to potentially thousands and thousands of extra votes for Joe Biden. All of this is in addition to the recently discovered 35,000 illegal votes that were potentially cast by people who did not live in the county in which they voted, minor detail, as well as 100,000 people who were purged from the Georgia rolls after the election. Think of this. I lost by like 11,000, 11,000. They have 100,000 plus.
Dudes really will do anything instead of getting therapy. Can you imagine if he just talked to a therapist about this? This is literally just a therapy session. Look at this. I was so close. It's like listening to a fucking mediocre high school quarterback spend the rest of their life talking about how they could have made it that big game, you know?
They were purged. They were deleted after the election was over, far exceeding the margin needed for a Republican presidential victory. That's just that one item. That's only one, but we have many. In other words, it is determinative.
You think Republicans can make any sense of Trump's nonsense? I feel like when I say stuff like this, I'm speaking as though Republicans are lizard people, which it's not really my intent, but I don't think they actually care about the words that he says. I think one of the most honest depictions of their mentality is actually found in the works of the incredibly intelligent Carolyn Borisenko. Because her big why I left the left moment was going to a Trump rally, and the energy was high, and it was loud, and there were colors everywhere, and the noise was big, and people were smiling. I really do think that's it, you know? I think that Republican voters are looking for enthusiasm, and they're looking for just kind of a vague endorsement of the policies they care about. Very vague. It can be very, very vague. So Trump, I mean, he rambles like a buffoon, you know? But I think them watching Trump is a little bit like us watching Zizek, where the rambling and everything and the almost incomprehensibility is like a part of the charm, And even though sometimes he says really dumb or incomprehensible stuff, you know the pattern is left-leaning. So you follow it and you like it. And you get this bit, you get that bit, and some of it's just nonsense, but the pattern is good. You like the pattern. And for Republicans, Trump is just that, just a 1/4 of the IQ version of Slavoj Žižek.
It's no wonder that Joe Biden and the radical Democrats are going absolutely crazy, screaming about voting rights, ranting about democracy. They want democracy and resisting every effort to look into the massive fraud in 2020.
Dude, the fucking Weimar Republic says they want democracy and transparency, but they're not even looking into the burning of the Reichstag. What's up with them, huh? Come on. Hey.
Just so you understand, we talk about cancel culture. The biggest thing that they want canceled is they don't want you talking about the election that just took place because they say, holy shit, they caught us. They caught us. They caught us. And we've seen it. It's a scandal, the likes of which we've never had. But the only way you get away with a scandal. And I was wondering because he was all excited. McSwain was all excited. He was going to go in there. Then one day it was like it's like somebody died. There was no more excitement. He was told not to do it. One day I noticed that the fake news media was calling Bill Barr a puppet of Donald Trump, and he wasn't a puppet at all. They had a picture of him with strings where I was totally controlling him. Just not true. They were saying that Bill Barr...
They posted an image of him being held aloft with strings. Fake image. That did not happen. That was not true. At no point have I held him aloft with strings. I don't even own strings.
You have to go against him, Bill Barr. Then they started saying they were going to impeach him. And they were what's called playing the ref. You know what that is? They're doing it with the Supreme Court, too. They're nasty. Do you see now, again, they want to impeach Kavanaugh. Not that they want to impeach him. They want to scare the hell out of him so he votes along the liberal lines. Because if he votes along the liberal lines, they're playing the ref better than the great Bobby Knight of Indiana ever played the ref. Remember with the chair and this. They said, Bobby, you're not going to win that call. He said, yeah, but I'm going to win the next one.
What?
That's what they're doing.
Is this
The great Bobby Knight, who was one of our great endorsements, I will tell you. When Bobby Knight
wow, nobody else
Trump,
cares either.
Indiana we were doing well there before. You ought to see after. Bobby Knight, that's a piece of work. But he said, it may not work this time, but it's going to work the next time. And the refs were afraid to say anything. It's true. That's what they're doing with our Supreme Court. They're trying to scare Kavanaugh.
Feels like me trying to talk about 40K to you guys, This is just like that one thing. Okay, wait, hold on. So there's this book, see? Yeah.
They're talking about an impeachment. I just saw it again this morning in the paper. They want to impeach Kavanaugh again. It's not that they do. They want him to rule for them. And if he rules for them, they're never going to impeach him. But if he rules against them like he's supposed to because he is a conservative, but they also don't want to have a packed court. So they're saying, we're going to... Legislator here who said, thank you, and I love you too. He said, sir, I was prepared to lose my election. People that you know, I was prepared. I didn't know him. I spoke to him for the first time. He said, I was prepared to lose my election. 2 months before, I was prepared. Then I went to one of your rallies, and I saw the level of enthusiasm with thousands of people unable to get in, 42,000 people, thousands unable to get in. I saw the enthusiasm, but I was very much prepared. I assumed I was going to lose. He's been there for a long time.
I actually can't understand a single thing that he's saying anymore. I'm so sorry. I keep trying to skip to a point where he's saying something comprehensible, and we're so beyond that. I don't even know. I genuinely don't even know. He's just the whole dialogue train is melting. Can the suffering end? Can it? I don't know.
We had fentanyl down to the lowest it's been in 15 years because it's not just people. It's the drugs that come across. We had it to the lowest. This drug is
I thought he was talking about George
A small
Floyd.
amount can kill 1,000 people. A little amount can kill thousands of people. We had it to the lowest level it's been in 15 years, and it was going down.
Compare this to a Bernie speech. Trump literally only talks about himself. It's fucking insane. Yeah, that's one of the things that, like, I feel like Republicans should be able to pick up on this. Like, does it bother them that Trump only talks about himself and everything he does and says has to be part of some self-congratulation? Always. In years of public speech, that's the only thing he talks about, but it doesn't seem to bother them. Like, that's very just intuitively repulsive to me for a politician, but...
And now he blew the thing up. And I used to say it's incompetence, but they must really want this to happen. From the very beginning of our movement, we have been fighting against some of the most corrupt, powerful, and entrenched forces imaginable. The professional political class, the deep state, the fake news media, the Russia hoaxers, the globalists, the socialists, the communists, the lobbyists, the corporate special interests who are absolutely terrible, and now the critical race theorists. All of them oppose our movement for a simple reason. We believe in putting America first. It's very simple.
I think we get the gist of this. Damn. Low energy Trump. I was expecting more from him. I really was. I was expecting more. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Is this really what the Republican Party has to run on right now? Like, this is it? No big policy measure, no big drive to make America better for anyone? Just like, gonna continue complaining forever? Isn't this the path to civil war? How's the polling going? Don't like 70% of Republicans think Biden stole the election? Pew Research, election fraud. Voters' reflections on the 2020 election. This is from January of this year. It's all from January. Sad. Very, very sad. Well, suffice to say, the majority of Republicans definitely believe that Donald Trump won the election and that Biden cheated. So how the fuck do we fix this? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Republican Party has to be made politically unviable. They're an anti-democracy party. They would lead us all to camps if they could. They have to be made irrelevant. The Electoral College needs to be abolished. The Senate needs to be abolished or restructured. Not the likelihood of either of these things happening is vanishingly low, but I want it. D.C. and Puerto Rico can be made states. We need to fight back against gerrymandering aggressively. And, man, I don't know. I really, really, really feel like a lot of what Republicans do is a pretty clear example of sedition, a thing which is on the book illegal, and one of the few things that you can charge a congressperson with that'll get them expelled from office automatically. But, like, it just doesn't seem to happen. I guess that's a slippery slope because, like, well, what if you charged other people for other things? But, like, dude, when you're at the point where, like, there was an attack on the Capitol and people died, and there are people defending that and explicitly playing defense for the terrorists who did it. Like, I don't know, man. It feels like there are some options on the table. In May, 56% of Republicans believed it was stolen. Oh, so the number's gone down since January. That's nice. The May national poll found 53% of Republicans believe Trump, their party's nominee, is the, quote, true president now, compared with 3% of Democrats and just a quarter of all Americans. 3% of Democrats. Wait, who are the Democrats who think Trump is the true president? What sleeper agent shit are you on? Like, agents of chaos. Like, yeah, Donald Trump really did win. But we made sure he didn't. And maybe they, like, made a bunch of fake ballots themselves to send them out so they could be, yeah, I don't know. Nice. Yeah, it was me. Whatever. Maybe by true president they meant, like, oh, he's our true president in the sense that he is the greatest reflection of the rod at the core of the American system or something like that. I don't know. These figures were roughly the same in a poll that ran during November, which found that 59% of Republicans felt that way. Okay, so from this methodology, it looks like it's about the same. It's gone down a little bit. Keep in mind, though, only 25% of all Americans. The Republicans are a minority in this country. They are. Republican Party membership is... Yeah, here. Here's party affiliation by percentage. Here, we can go all the way back and see time change. Here's back in 2004. More Republicans than Democrats, believe it or not. But as time changes, particularly around the Obama years, the percentage of Democrats massively outweighs the percentage of Republicans in this country. And right now, it's 30% to 24%. That means that the number of Democrats, proportionally speaking, are a whole 25% higher than the number of Republicans. Look at this number of independents right here. That's a lot of people. 44%. That's a lot of people. Now, of course, there's a lot of variance in this polling that you can see over time. These results differ from these results, differ from these results. But working on the current numbers, these are the people we need to focus on first and foremost. You ask me, what do we do about this? These people have to be made irrelevant. They're the minority. Independents and Democrats are both larger. Donald Trump had a much lower approval rating than Joe Biden does. We need to convince people in the center that these people are a threat and that these people are, well, slightly less of a threat. Vosh, of that 44%, do you think it's made, what do you think it's made up of? More libertarian / far right or more socialist / far left? Neither. They're independents. The people here in the middle are people who are politically disaffected, who know little to nothing about politics, who don't care about politics, or who have strong opinions that don't really jive with any of the existing political blocks, so they just sit in the middle and vote based on stupid, like, personality-based moves. Most independents are partisans who just claim they're not affiliated, though. Yeah, I don't know how much that would account for here. If that's the case, then we can assume the proportionality is going to be similar in both ways. Though, to be fair, I feel like there are probably more left-leaning independents who just are embarrassed by the Dems than right-leaning independents embarrassed by the Republicans. Conservatives are much better at falling in line. I feel like independents are a group which can be tapped effectively, and we should focus on that first and foremost. Y'all get me. Oh my god, I'm so tall right now. All right. Listening to Trump exhausted me. Let me read donos and then I'll cut it. Carly, Kirk, and NCR Llama, thank you for the tier 1 subs both. Really appreciate that. Cody Griffith and Mindforge Manacles, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that as well. Wondering how effective a no confidence vote would be if we adopted it. Ineffective. Nobody in power quakes because people stop voting. Governments with lower rates of voter turnout are usually governments which are more authoritarian and care less about the people. Radiant Knight, thank you for the $5. Yeah. Official Josh Woods, thank you for the $5. Hey, Trump, it was not 110 degrees yesterday or any of the last days in Arizona. It's been rainy as fuck. Got him. Catherine Music Avian, thank you for the very kind tier 2 sub. I really appreciate that. Got some CARES Act money and a job, so now I can afford subbies again. Yay. Nice. Really happy to hear that. That's not what a vote of no confidence means. I'm sorry, I was thinking of like the Paul's ego no confidence vote thing. Do you mean the vote of no confidence like what would they do in England? Where you have a vote of no confidence for your like prime minister? We don't have a prime minister. I assumed we were talking about America here, so I knocked off the potential. Yeah, what would it do here? Then to remove POTUS? We can't. I don't think we can do that. Guys, we don't have a prime minister. We vote for our president. We impeach presidents. What would it do here was the question, no? Oh, it can't do anything. a vote of no confidence means that you don't think the current prime minister is an effective representative of the party coalition that currently controls the government. But that's because in the UK, you don't vote for your prime minister. You vote for your local party officials. Your party officials vote for their prime minister. If they're the one who ends up getting the majority. So here in the US, we vote for presidents directly. If we did a vote of no confidence, you don't vote for your president either, you vote for electoral college votes. Yeah, but that's not necessarily the same. The electoral college is expected to vote in line with the people in the states they're in, whereas prime ministers have like the expected, or the parties have an expected prime minister, but you could have another one from that group. But what would you do if you had a vote of no confidence on a US president? Like, the party that president came from would just scramble to find another person to make president, and would they even be voted in? It just, yeah. Annoyed Gamer, thanks the very kind $10. I was at work recently and some customer called me nothing more than a Jewish snake. I'm not Jewish, but still odd that some felt comfortable just saying that. Yeah, that's a little bit odd. Definitely a bit of a gamer moment there, I'd say. Ace Coomer, thanks the tier 1 sub. Yeah, it does. Spider Frog with 10 euros, thank you very, very much. Yes, I would like to talk to TJ again. It just has to happen. It has to happen. Courage of Naruto and Captain Star Chaser, thank you for the $5 both. I really appreciate that. Yes, the Arizona GOP is fucking insane. Courage of Naruto, I did see that video. The cop that got caught planting drugs doesn't actually seem to have been planting any drugs. I went over it last stream. There was more footage that released. It just looked like it was an incredibly convenient, like everything worked to make it look as much as possible like it was like he was planting drugs, but that just doesn't seem to be what happened. So we went over all the footage and it was fun.